Hey guys, so welcome back to Pritchett Power Bar Talk.
Let's go!
We're actually consistent here. It's our
I
second
know, we
week
are.
we're up.
This is the most consistent we've ever been on YouTube.
Probably.
So yeah, this is history. We're making history right now.
No, we asked you guys to throw some questions in the comments. Got a few of them up here. Gator's been nice to write these out for me. So we're gonna do a Q&A. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. So, like I said, these are just written out. I don't know who these came from. So hopefully you're watching again, so you'll hear our answers. Is there an event you wish you could see more of in strongman? This is kind of like a two-part question.
Yeah.
Is there an event you wish you could see more of in strongman? And if you could create an event, what would it be? I think
that's a good question.
It's a really good question. Really good question. I think for the first part of that, I would like to see strongman be heavier. Honestly, get back to what we pushed it to be. Around that 16, 17 Arnold. We did 1565 yoke, still had a max deadlift, had the big log, had the 1100 frame. It was big, heavy,
but
nasty.
Not just that. Like, it was heavy, but every show was heavy because you did the whole Arnold circuit.
Everything was heavy,
and every single show was heavy. And those were like, you do the Arnold in Columbus, like the main Arnold that everyone would try their hardest to get to, right? And then like 2 weeks after that, it's the Arnold in Australia that you competed in.
Yeah.
And there's the max elephant bar deadlift. Like, right, 2017, they had the max elephant bar deadlift.
Yeah.
You will 1031. Then they had the yoke rounds, which I think that we should see more of, those yoke rounds.
I would like to see the last man standing yoke.
But then in Australia, they had the max frame deadlift.
Frame, yeah.
So like 2 weeks after, you're doing like 2 max lifts,
Yeah, I would like to see. I feel that it's kind of tapered down a little bit. And some of the events become a little more of athletic events than they are really strength. And it's just strongman. I think.
But I think you need
big,
that too.
Heavy, nasty events.
I think there should be more athletic events too, like balanced out, like super heavy events and also athletic events too. So like really, the guy that wins that show is the best. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean you'll see more separation. For the smaller guys that are going to be good at the athletic, they're not going to hang on the really heavy static guys like some of the big guys.
Yeah.
Would. So you'll see more separation.
Yeah.
In some of the competitors there, but that's what I would like to see. Kind of get back to, and as far as an event, if I could create an event, obviously there's a ton of different variations of deadlift events, but I thought a cool one for like a spectator thing, especially like at the Rogue where you're out in the baseball stadium, out in the field, and so you have to have something, a big visual, like Rogue did the Roga coaster this year. I think some sort of elevated deadlift where you're up on like some sort of platform or like a container with the elevated bars so you can get a little more weight, but come down into big frames with like cars on them. Mm-hmm. Where you're almost lifting them like in a Smith machine, kind of like Rogan, but bigger so you can see visually. You can see it more. So when the guy lifts it, you can see those cars rise.
Yeah.
Out on that field. Yeah. I think something big, massive. I mean, like that would be a cool event to see.
Like what you guys really don't realize in the crowd is like at the deadlift machine that Rogue built.
Yeah.
It only had like 3 barrels on it or something, right? But it's still 900 pounds.
Yeah.
That you're lifting. It's still pretty heavy, but like as crowd events, even I was like, that really doesn't look that cool.
It was hard, I think, to kind of see underneath it, and I don't think visually it did it justice for how hard of a pull that was. I tested that a few days beforehand, and that was a hard pull, especially with the kind of floating bar, so you really couldn't coil into the weight like a normal lift, and then you're lifting and those things in that, like those glides, and so you got a little more friction for that, so that makes it more difficult. And it was a really hard pull, and I don't think it did justice for how much work those guys were having to do it. That's one I'd say. I don't know. What do you think? What do you like to see back or more of? And then if you could create an event, what would you create?
So an event that I would like to see more of is the yoke rounds, because those. I mean, it was just crazy the amount of weight that you guys were doing. Like you were saying, like for like a split second, you have what? It was like 1,300 pounds, right?
It was 15. The last round was
15.
1565.
1565.
So you figure for a split second,
Yeah.
you're on 1 foot with your own body weight and 1565. So
Yeah.
figure like Shaw, he's like 2,000 pounds
Yeah.
on 1 foot for a split second.
See, I don't know which is more impressive, the stage holding him up or lifting that weight.
Yeah, that was the first time. That stage took a lot. A lot of heavy deadlifts. And,
Yeah.
and they'd always build a platform for the deadlifts, but for the yoke, it was just on the stage.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time you could feel that stage kind of give a little bit when you came up for that to take that step.
Yeah.
Because there was so much weight. It was
Yeah.
just massive. Yeah.
I would like to see more of that, but I mean, it's not really a new event like we've seen this before. But I think it'd be cool at the Brogue Invitational if they did that shield carry, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they took it around the bases.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. Or even if they did one, it's kind of like a medley where they took like the sandbag there, and then you picked up a yoke and like walked it and like walked the bases with different implements.
I
I
did.
think that'd be really cool.
You were very little, but I did a show in Philly. It was MHP Classic in Philadelphia, 4th of July weekend years ago,
Yeah.
in 2011, and used to be a big show. And the first day was in Philly for the 4th, and was part of this big festival and a ton of people. And then the next night was in New Jersey at a minor league baseball stadium, like what Rogue is at. And we did stones there. And then back then what we did was stones, you ran the bases. So
That's pretty cool.
you had one at home base, first, second, third, and there was a gasser because you had to run
Yeah.
each base and then set the stones and then run the next one. So it was cool. Kind of spread it out, made it more of for the spectators more to see.
Yeah.
It was a neat event.
Back to what you said on the like making strongman heavier. I think we need events like that to like that where like you still have to like it's cardiovascular, right? You have to run to those bases, right? But if you still made the stones pretty heavy, like that would be an equalizer. I feel like,
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some give and take, because the size and strength, guys have to come in and do those big events. It definitely their cardio is going to be down a little bit, But yeah, I agree. You should be able, you have to move a little bit.
Yeah.
I still like the moving events where you have to move some weight,
Yeah.
But I think it's strong, man. I think it should be heavy ass weight,
Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, buddy. But like at Worlds, they had those giant sandbags. Did you see those?
Yeah.
In the medley that they did, it was in the heats, but they had giant sandbags. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't do this, Kevin, but Kevin Ferris, he's not the biggest strongman, right?
You think the bag is like the size of Kevin,
Yeah, and it was literally the size of Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin Ferris, yeah.
All right. So I think we kind of covered that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
30 minutes later.
No,
Second
that's a good. I
question.
mean, we could go on for a long time
Yeah.
about what events we like to see, and then kind of creating events. I mean, there's so much. That's the cool thing about strongman. There's so many cool things you can do. There was one that we found here not too long ago on YouTube that I had never seen before. One they did in Canada. I would love to see that come back. Where
A wheelbarrow.
yeah, it was a
Yes.
wheelbarrow, but they built it like if anybody's seen tractor pulling, where they pull a tractor, and as the tractor, is pulling that sled, that weight is moving up the sled. That's basically what they had done with the wheelbarrow. So it really wasn't an advantage to run faster with it because then just the weight went faster up towards the handles. That was a really cool
Yeah.
event to watch.
Yeah.
To see how guys, because it was like almost strategy, like, do you try to run fast?
Because it's kind of like
and
time
it's moving
under
up in-
tension, yeah.
It's moving at you faster, but and then or you just try to stay steady and stay with it because the guys that were going too fast, it was too far from them, then they weren't ready to take that load
Yeah.
once it was up there. So
And
I-
also,
I would like to
was
see
done,
that come
was
back.
done with no straps.
Yeah.
So the people that won that, or who I can't, I think was it Hugo that won that?
I believe Hugo won
I
it.
think it was Hugo. In Canada, I mean.
But, yeah.
But like he had to have amazing grip to do that. you
Yeah,
know?
I don't know. I think. I mean, you always see a limit. Some of the heavy frames, you get past the grip strength. Like when we got up to 1,100 pounds and that, you really need the straps to do those big weights. But I think up to 1,000,
Yeah.
no straps.
Also, I kind of like when it takes away the grip strength, but I liked it. when they were doing the car hold with straps. It was like whoever can take the most pain. And
Yeah.
World's Strongest Man 2014, I'm pretty sure.
We did it in China in 13.
13.
And yeah, it's really just who can take the pain in your arms
Yeah.
and hands and shoulders the longest, and hips, and
Yeah.
just be able to stand there locked out. That's a really tough event.
Yeah.
Graham and I had a really good battle on
Yeah.
that.
You and Graham are always put together.
We did for a lot of years.
Yeah.
We got paired together. All right. What is Bub's age, weight, height? Is he a multi-sport athlete?
That's ever changing. I don't
Let's
know.
see. Yeah, height and weight is ever
yeah.
changing.
My height, I would say about 6 foot.
Yeah, I would say you're probably
I'd say
6 foot
probably
now.
6 foot.
I think Gator disagrees with that.
Yeah.
But we haven't measured you in a little while. We need to, but I would say you're probably about 6
Yeah.
foot by now.
Weight, I'm about like 205, 210.
Depending on how many pancakes
Yeah.
you had that day.
Yeah, or ice cream.
And multi-sport athlete.
Multi-sport athlete, kind of. Well, yes.
You've done.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's just strongman, but you've
Yeah.
done other sports.
I've done powerlifting. I've done football. Football I was more like kind of serious in because I played a couple times with different teams. Basketball, it was like I don't really call it that I played because
You kind of tried it when you were
yeah,
little,
but
you
it
know.
was like it was like one of those ones like you didn't keep score, and I
Yeah.
was like, but like for me, I was like I need to know if I won if I won or lost because I was like I need to know what I can improve on, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
It was fun. It was something for you to try it. But yeah, football. You play tackle football. You play
Yeah.
flag and tackle, and
flag wasn't.
that a little more serious. Yeah. What are we? Okay.
Are you
Jerry-
a multi-sport athlete? What's your height?
I used to be, not so much anymore. Jerry, how do you feel coming back? Okay, so what are you hoping to pull at the Deadlift Championships? All right, excited to come back. It's rough. It's been rough. I'm not gonna lie. It's been rough. My hips and back are definitely not like they used to be. But I'm excited to come back. I'm still working hard, pushing to come back. What I'm hoping to pull, honestly, if I can pull in, honestly, a low 9, I'll be happy. The way things have been going with my hips and back.
That would be pretty.
If I could just get through the deadlift, it's not like it used to be, which it just is what it is. And then get to the rest of the events, because the rest of the events I think can be okay.
Yeah.
It's honestly right now the deadlift is really the hardest one for
The
me.
wrecking ball hold, I am gonna love to watch that.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I don't
You're,
wouldn't be.
from all things, like your hip, it's kind of been messed up. Your back's kind of been messed up, right? You've lost like some strength, but your grip strength has it's never died off.
Yeah,
Like your grip strength is still like right
I-
there. You carried a 410 Farmers last week.
yeah, I wouldn't really. Yeah, I wouldn't even hardly train that.
The
worry
wheelbarrow,
about that.
like the wheelbarrow, you're gonna do well in.
Yeah, the wheelbarrow. I mean, it'll be a bit of a gasser, but the wheelbarrow, the axle press,
Yeah, the axle press, your shoulders have stayed strong. You know.
sandbag loads felt pretty good. So I think stones are going to come back nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a battle. I've got a lot of years in this sport that have taken a toll. So it's not easy, but we're pushing through, and that's the plan, to have a good show when we come back there in September. So
Speaking of stones, okay, I have an idea. Okay, so anybody out there is looking for a business. Okay, I have an idea. Okay,
that's it.
instant tacky remover. Okay, so with like a snap of a fingers, all the tacky's off.
Yeah, you'd be a billionaire if you could.
I know.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Pretty
Like
much
the
everybody-
strongman community would like bow. Like
Everybody dreads about
Yeah.
stones as a cleanup. Yeah.
literally, I had like one of my best stone sessions on Saturday, right? And we finished up, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling good. I was like, can we get this stuff off now? It was like
That's
it was
always
just a snap of the fingers. and
always
it's
the
off.
worst part about
Yeah.
stones is the cleanup.
Yeah. So if anybody out there wants to,
Where can I see more info on Arizona Strongest? So we mentioned this last time that we're hosting Arizona Strongest Man August 19th at the Phoenix Convention Center. So there is an Instagram page, Copper State Strongman. So the events are posted on there. There's a link to Eventbrite for Arizona Strongest, so you can sign up, or if you just want to come out and watch and support the athletes. But we'll throw a link in the description or comments here on this when we post this, so you can get to it as well if you're having a hard time finding it. Any chance there will be a Masters League? Well,
that would be pretty cool.
There really kind of is now with OSG, with having the Masters World's Strongest Man over 40 and over 50.
They have Britain's
You have the
strongest
women's.
master.
Britain's has their own Strongest Master. Strongman Corp has a lot of Masters show.
Yeah.
I think a Masters at their nationals, and a lot of their shows throughout the year. There's Master classes. I know Steve Navajo,
Yeah.
Nav, from here. We saw him going to the Arnold. He qualified for the Arnold through Masters. So there's a lot of routes, a lot of competition now for Masters.
But I
Now,
think
as far as like a league of like having like certain shows, I think probably Strongman Corp would probably be the closest to that now for the states of having like several shows and
I think that would be
Strongman
cool,
Nationals.
though,
Now, as far as like a pro league Masters, other than OSG, there's just that one show. There's not really a pro league Masters. I think a pro league with seasoned pros would be a cool.
That would be cool,
because there's a lot of us now.
You could have Rano, Big Z,
So
Nick Best.
maybe it's a Shaw Classic next year. Maybe there's a Masters. What do you think, Brian?
Brian?
But yeah, I think that would be cool. I think a lot of athletes and fans would really like to see that. I think. All right, Jerry.
We're gonna rival Shaw. We're gonna rival Shaw.
Jerry, what is the plan for future? Continue to compete with younger guys and Masters, or Masters with Nick Best and Big Z? Yes, I mean for the next couple of years, yes, that is the plan. I'm going to Giants Live. I'd like to get back to World's Strongest Man. Then of course do OSG's the plan as well, to compete with some of the Masters guys. So both the Masters guys and the younger guys right now. Ultimately, the plan here in a couple of years is to start probably fading out of competing. My body's telling me it's getting close to time, and trying to transition back into auto racing. I've got to purchased a car that I've been building, putting together to do some pavement modified racing, and slowly kind of putting that program together. Kind of that's my retirement plan for Strongman here, and possible sprint cars too.
I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but he was a jockey before he became a strongman. So auto racing's kind of new.
If anybody's followed me long enough, they probably seen me post or know that I used to drive a sprint car years ago. But it's kind of something I always had joked about it, that I go back to racing, and then here the last couple of years, it's like I think that's really where I want. I have to do something competitive, So if my body's going to tell me it's time to probably ease off of strongman, I got to do something else. So it'll be a really fun, challenging transition to go back into racing, especially with this pavement deal. I never ran pavement when I was running years ago. I just ran dirt. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited about that kind of transition, the kind of chapter after, competing strongman. And obviously still will be involved with strongman. We're putting on strongman. You're going to be competing in strongman. So still going to be involved, hopefully doing things with Rogue as well.
I think you should do fast walking in the Olympics.
Fast walking,
yeah. I think that'd be great.
That'd fit right in.
With your hips, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
The way they walk.
So, I think that's probably you got anything to add to that? Any of those?
I think we did good. It was actually easier than I thought. It looked like a lot. And I was like, oh, that's...
Yeah, it wasn't one of those ton.
Yeah.
And then, same thing, you guys have any more questions, we can do more of these. I think the plan is next week to kind of start our series. What we want to do here with this Pritchett Power Bar Talk is to get more into the mindset of how we do the things we do and why we do the things we do. And reaching out to some other athletes got it. I think a pretty good one next week. I'm excited about
I'm
next
super
week.
excited for the one next week.
I mean, nobody's been through more than this guy in strongman. So, really excited about this. And the other, athletes, drivers we're going to bring in here because, you hear all these phrases you see on social media all the time, it takes hard work and desire and determination and stuff like that, which, a lot of people have. There's a ton of people that wake up early in the morning and go to the gym, or they work out at home before they go to work, or when they get off work for a long day, they go to the gym. And, that takes a lot of commitment and hard work and determination to do those things. Then there's the next level of what we do, to what it takes to do a 1,500 pound yoke and put your body through that to do, those tests to do that. And then after, taking injuries in these sports to keep pushing through, I completely detached bicep in South Africa on a frame carry and without any kind of hesitation, walked to my bag, changed for deadlift, and walked out for deadlift and won the last man standing deadlift on the next event and pulled 968.
And the person we're going to have on the podcast next week has a great story. And once you listen to him, you're like, wow, I have so much,
Yeah, if he doesn't make you get off your ass and work,
Yeah.
I don't know what will. Yeah. So really excited about that. So we're gonna kick that off next week, and then like I said, any questions, comments, we can throw in some of these Q&As along the way. But that's gonna be kind of the goal, is kind of get into some of this mindset stuff with some of these guys.
Let's do this.
So
I'm excited.
all right. So thank you guys. We appreciate it. If you like, comment, share, all that stuff. What
Ring a
else?
little bell. Ding-a-ling-ling-ling.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Pritchett Power out.